I'm talking to you, so come on. Shout!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 18 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to the Sunrise Show. Craig Fronikin is your host, and thrilled to have on to the program Medford Police Chief Tim George. And
Thrilled,
absolutely. And in his 37th year.
We were just trying to make me feel old, are you?
No, you don't. I mean, gosh.
I'm old. I'm unfortunately I'm going to turn 60 here. This coming up here.
Well, we've always talked about that. Good genes.
Good genes and
good healthy living, right?
Good healthy living. Yeah, there you go.
And so now it's a matter of being.
You gotta roll out of bed. That's the key.
Right. That's right.
Once your feet are on the ground, you're halfway there.
Exactly. Well, we have the chief in on a monthly basis, and it's great to have you in, Chief. And I appreciate your time. I know you're super busy with everything that's going on because you do have, you've got all the meetings going on. You've got to be the liaison with the city. There's so much admin going on. And then you've got to be excited after all this time, groundbreaking.
Well, that's it. You gotta drive by 10th and 90 because steel is being erected as we speak. There's stuff going up in the air. That's the exciting part because now you can actually see it happen. It's exciting when groundbreaking starts, but you see all that preparation work and all the foundation work. You don't get to really see it, but once stuff starts going up in the air, you can actually see some serious progress. So it's an exciting time for us.
And we've talked about this a number of times, and that is the productivity level of your staff and your entire department, the entire City of Medford Police Department related to their productivity. It's going to leap. It has to, in comparison to them being crammed.
Well, we've been putting 10 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound bag for a long time. I don't want to sound like a crybaby because we do our best work under stress. We're in the conflict business. That's what we do. But you're going to see a quicker, better, faster, more efficient, more customer-friendly PD because we're going to have a place to talk to people. We're going to have a place to talk to our own people.
Oh my gosh!
We're going to have a place to train our people. We're going to have a place. That's the best way to describe it because right now, every month, we train our cops every month. We are committed to training. No one trains more and as often as we do because the way you train is the way you react. And we're fortunate. We live in a community where people are generous and allow us to borrow their space because you have to have space to train. And we got 105 sworn cops and we got roughly 140 full-time employees. And we got 2 times a month. You divide those in half. We got to have a place to put them and do stuff with them. And, there's some of the skill stuff that we got to do. But some of the other stuff, the classroom stuff, and some of the other stuff that we do, we got to have a place to sit and a place to do stuff. So, it's really going to put us back in the big leagues where we belong because we're a town of 80,000 people. We're not Mayberry anymore. We got to have space. We got to be secure. We got to have a safe place. We handle people that are in custody for some very serious stuff, and we got to protect our own people and protect the public, and we have to be able to have a place where we can talk to victims and witnesses. And there were times in my career where we talked to suspects in our car. We talked to witnesses in a car out in a parking lot because there wasn't any space to do that. And that's not how you treat people. It's not how you should be doing business.
No, I know. Well, and policing has changed. We're talking about, the efficiency rating. And I personally know because I went from a cramped office to a new dig, and it was like our sales, our productivity, everything just leaped, and everybody was happy. They were happy to come to work. They were, it was a good thing. All right, so
I'm fortunate to be around a lot of good people and a lot of happy people.
Well, you want to reward the folks that are passionate, that work so hard, and that's what is important.
They do a good job, and the other thing I think you got to remember too is we're a 24/7 operation, like most public safety facilities. So we have people coming and going all the time, and you have to have secured parking for the stuff. We have a lot of expensive stuff in our police vehicles with weaponry and computer systems and all sorts of stuff that are in those things. You really shouldn't be parking those things out on the street.
I know it. The investment for a vehicle and an officer is quite a bit.
My wife gets the garage, so she parks her car in the garage. So She's pretty particular about her car, but
I know it.
But she should be particular about the police cars that she's paying for because she's a taxpayer. So.
Well, and I talk about this all the time. Are we getting good service on a national level or on a state level? But on a city level, and Chief, you want to talk about gang enforcement, what's going on, what folks should be looking for.
Sure. I'm trying to pull some stuff up here.
And
correctly too. So.
Being on the watchful eye. Policing has. You've said this before. Policing has changed around the nation, around our state, and we have to be ready for all of the bad. And there are a lot of bad folks.
Well, I think with growth, you get a certain percentage of bad with good. Growth is a good thing if it's done properly, but I think you get an influx at times that you have to stay on top of. Gang activity specifically is something that we take very seriously and we take at the heart because it can destroy neighborhoods and destroy communities. And so you really have to, when something happens, we throw a lot of resources at it. Even before something happens, when you get into predictive police work, then you've really turned the corner. You got to do something before it happens when you start to see the signs or the indications or the predictive factors that talk about why things are going to start to happen. That's when it gets good. And that's what I'm trying to get across right now this morning, because we do have roughly between 350 and 400 documented gang members in our city at any given time. And we had, I think, 250 gang-related crimes in 2014. And we said gang-related, it could be an assault, it could be a robbery,
but
it could be a theft, something that had some kind of connection or tail to some kind of gang activity. So when a gang event occurs, whether mostly assaultive behavior, then there's going to be some. You can bet the house on the fact that depending on the gang sect and the type of activity, there's going to be some kind of retribution. So they're going to get even, so to speak. And so if you can step in front of the get even, take care of the initial one, and then take the preventive piece in front of the get even, you've actually solved two things. And that's what I'm trying to get across to people, is that when you see suspicious vehicles, when you see gang attire, when you see gang graffiti, when you see what looks like a disturbance involving that, we need to be on the front end of that. We need to know that information. And right now, and I'm not picking on specific neighborhoods in particular, but right now the area of Union Park in Medford, and the city and that parks have put a lot of, and that community and those citizens put a lot of effort into revitalizing Union Park with the construction that went on there and the concerned effort by those citizens. They deserve a city park that's just as nice and just as good as any city park in the city of Medford. So we're putting a lot of effort into it because we've had a couple of recent gang assaults and gang activity there that have highlighted the fact that there's something going on there that we need to address. And the neighborhood is going to solve this. We're going to assist them, but the neighborhood's going to solve it because they know when it doesn't look right.
Well, and here's the next thing: is
they know who's who in that neighborhood. They know it better than we do. We're putting people on foot in there. We're putting people on bicycles in there. We're putting two-man cars in there. We're putting a lot of time, energy, and effort into that particular neighborhood right now because of what is occurring there. But that could occur in any particular neighborhood at any given time. But it's really the neighborhood and those folks that are there that know when they look out the window or they're driving down the street or they're walking their dog down to the park or whatever, they know who lives in their neighborhood. They know who doesn't live in their neighborhood. They know who frequents the park. They know who they've never seen before. They know what something doesn't look right. And when they see what appears to be a drug transaction or what appears to be some type of assaultive behavior or suspicious activity, we got to have that immediately. The quicker we get the information, the quicker we get in front of it, the quicker we can solve problems. And we're really into problem-solving policing. And those people deserve a good neighborhood like everybody else does. That's what they want, and they deserve that. And it's really
they want to be safe.
Absolutely,
they want to be safe. So there's two phone numbers: the 774-2250. That's the main line, and then
that's a records number. So
that's right, and then 770-4783.
That'll get you the non-emergency dispatch number into CCOM.
Right.
Obviously, if it's a 911 call, it's going to go directly into EXO, Emergency Communications in Southern Oregon. They dispatch for this region, but the 4783 is the non-emergency number. Just want to say, hey, you know something? I just saw something. It's not a 911 call, but I want to talk to the cops, and I want to get that information to them because that is that really is the key to things. Speed counts. The quicker we get information, the quicker we respond, the quicker we're there before people leave, we get a car stopped, we recover a weapon. All sorts of good things happen when we get it, and we get it quickly, and we get there quickly. You tell us about something that happened a week ago, yeah, we still want that information. But if it was in progress and it was going on and you saw it, everybody in the world's got a cell phone now. You can call that number quick enough, and we can get there quick enough. We can do some amazing stuff if we can get the information. And really, we're in the information business. I said this 100 times. There's no such thing as bad information.
Exactly.
Let us filter it. We'll decide that some information is just better than others. But information is a good thing. When community members are talking to us, that's a good thing.
All right. We have a quick break. We'll come right back. Medford Police Chief Tim George in with us this morning. We'll take your calls. Got to get to a break. Be right back.
So get up. Top of the morning to ya.
Good morning, everybody. 33 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to the Sunrise Show. We have Medford Police Chief Tim George in the studio with us this morning. We talked a little bit about their new police headquarters going on. Steel's going up in the air. We talked a little bit about the Union Park issue. Then there's some situations going on over there. Medford PD has addressed that wholehearteady.
I want to speak to one other thing, if I could, about the gang issue.
Do it. Well, that's right. We want to get to that.
And that is the school resource officer program. This is summertime. Obviously, those folks are back on the road with us. They're not in the schools, and they're doing some of their training. And I'm going to be going to the Oregon School Resource Officers annual conference up north here later next month. Mike Jackson, who is our school resource officer at South Medford High School, is actually the president of the Oregon.
Wow, that's fantastic.
The Oregon School Resource Officers program. We have another folk in there that's one of the representatives for the region. So we are serious players in the whole statewide school resource officer program. And really, you want to talk about a preventative piece. We have a full-time cop at South. We got a full-time cop at North. We got a full-time cop at McLaughlin. We got a full-time cop at Hedrick. So all of our secondary schools have a full-time police officer assigned to those schools 5 days a week, all through the school year. Plus, we have 2 additional civilian employees, community service officers, that are assigned to the neighborhoods surrounding both North and South Medford High School. That's a key piece. That relationship that we have with the Medford School District is really crucial and really important to the whole thing that we're trying to get to here, and that is the preventative piece as far as school violence, that gang affiliation. Those things happen at a pretty young age. When you get to the middle school age, you're going to decide who you're going to hang with. And that decision as a parent is huge too. When your children start to enter middle school and they decide who their friends are going to be, that is crucial to that whole process, because you're known by who you hang with.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's
the cops also too. The resource officers. This gives the kids a chance to see them on a daily basis, and the cops, the officers can interact with them
Absolutely.
in any way, shape, or form. And I think that news travels really fast amongst the kids.
Absolutely, and the preventive. It's really hard to, I'm a numbers guy, stat guy. I got all this stuff in front of me here, and you can measure what happens. It's really difficult to measure what doesn't happen. I want to talk about preventive pieces all the time, and sometimes I get critical of news media because they only talk about the traumatic, terrible things that happen. They don't talk about the things that we step in front of, and it's really on us. I should be critical of myself and our own folks in this business, because we don't publicize those things where we stepped in front, and we should tell that story better. And we'll take a step in that direction here soon to try and do that. But that whole piece where, like you said, where there's a police officer in a school or in amongst young people, and they get comfortable enough where they tell him something. They tell him something that's bothering them or it's critical to them, and then we step in front. Someone has brought a weapon to school. Someone has decided to harm themselves. Someone has done this or done that or said this or said that, and we have an opportunity there, and that is so crucial to the whole preventative piece.
They smell funny. They look funny.
Right.
They said something funny.
They said something. They're worried about their friend. They're worried about themselves. They're worried about whatever it is. And really, that is police work 101. When you can be Andy of Mayberry, when people know you and feel comfortable enough to talk to you and come up to you and tell you something that you can take action on, or you hear about something, or you're there as a preventative piece, and people may change their mind or not do something terrible, and that's the last thing we want to have happen. So that's really crucial to what we're trying to get
We've been really
to.
fortunate in Medford. I mean, in cooperation with Jackson County Sheriff's Office, we've been really fortunate there. I mean, the budgeting process, you look at these counties, they're just struggling so much. And, you come back, it all deals down to having the right folks on the bus,
Oh, absolutely.
and then on the right seats on the bus.
I'm fortunate to be in a city that supports public safety in a region that is fiscally sound, that's able to do what they do. Because, like you said, there's places look at Josephine County. Rural Josephine County is pretty much
Oh, my
lawlessness.
gosh.
Curry County's
with the
Curry County's-
gang numbers, but also we had a great dialogue off air, the sanctuary city piece, and I've talked about exactly what you were saying, is that if the local law enforcement isn't, I mean, they're communicating and giving that information to immigration, but I've always said this immigration system that we have in this country, the federal, is broken. They're not doing their job. They can't. Why aren't they getting the support? It makes no sense to me.
I mean, immigration's a federal issue at a federal level that needs to be addressed at a federal level. It's nationwide. It's not just. I'm just as concerned about the influx of the outrageous influx of illegal drugs into this country in our southwest border. I mean, my gosh, that's where the drugs are coming from. We're swimming in methamphetamine. There's a bunch of issues that need to be addressed nationally, but again, like I said, local, county, and state officers in the state are prohibited by Oregon state law to enforce immigration. We don't, and we shouldn't.
Right.
That is not our role. That's not what we should be doing. We should be concentrating on public safety and law enforcement and the immigration issue.